Class 12th, second chapter from physics, mechanical properties of fluids. Let us see the concept of hydrostatic paradox from this chapter. For explaining the concept of this hydrostatic paradox, we have considered here 4 vessels. But let us see first what is the concept of hydrostatic paradox. So when a liquid is poured in any one of the interconnected vessels, it is observed that level of the liquid in all the vessels is the same. This puzzling observation is called as hydrostatic paradox, and therefore when we consider these 4 vessels, for all these 4 vessels the base is common. The walls of the vessel A are exactly vertical. Some part of the walls of vessel B are exactly vertical and remaining part is slightly inclined outwards. For vessel C, the walls are inclined outwards, and again for vessel D, the walls are vertical, and therefore the shape of all these vessels will be different, but still the liquid level in all the vessels remain the same, and therefore as the base area for all these vessels is the same, the force exerted on the bases must be same, so that the pressure exerted will be the same, and hence the levels of liquid in all the vessels will be same. Now this concept will be explained by this figure. So in this figure, the walls of the container which are vertical here, for this the liquid contained in it will exert force on the walls in the outward direction, in the horizontal direction, that is perpendicular to the walls. At the same moment, the walls of this container will also exert inward force, and which will be perpendicular to these walls, so that these forces which are directed inwards will be equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. That's why they will get cancelled with each other, and the total force exerted will be on the base of this vessel, that is the weight of this liquid column directed downwards. At the same time, force F will be directed in the upward direction, that is on the base of this first vessel the total force acting is equal to F. So same force F must be acting there on the basis of all these vessels having different shapes. So let us consider the second vessel whose walls are inclined outwards. The liquid contained in it will again exert force on these walls perpendicular to it, and so that it will be slightly directed downwards. At the same time, the walls will exert forces which will be perpendicular to the walls, and it will be directed slightly upwards. That means the resultant force acting on the base of that will be the subtraction of this upward force and the downward force acting as the weight of that liquid contained in that vessel, and therefore the resultant force will be decreased, and that will be equal to F. In the next vessel, if the walls are inclined inwards, then the liquid will exert forces on these walls perpendicular to it in the outward direction. At the same time, the walls will exert force inwards, and it will be directed slightly downwards. Hence, the resultant force acting on it will be again F, because in this case the force F will be the sum of the forces exerted by these walls and the weight of this liquid. So from this it is clear that though the quantity of liquid contained in all these three vessels is different, the resultant force acting on the basis of all these three vessels is the same. And as force is same, base area is same, therefore the pressure exerted will be the same, because pressure is equal to force per unit area. So in this case, if you consider the concept of this hydrostatic paradox, then in this concept the pressure at a point depends on height of the liquid column above it. It does not depend on the shape of the vessel. In this case, height of the liquid column in all the vessels is the same, and therefore the pressure of liquid column in each vessel is the same, and the system is said to be in equilibrium. Next point is Pascal's law and its application. So let us see first the statement of Pascal's law. The pressure applied at any point of an enclosed fluid at rest is transmitted equally and undiminished, that is without decreasing, to every point of the fluid and also on the walls of the container, provided that the effect of gravity is neglected. Now let us consider the applications of Pascal's law. The very first application is hydraulic lift, which is used to lift the heavy objects in some of the garages or workshop centers. In order to lift heavy objects like heavy vehicles like trucks, this hydraulic lift will be used. So in the construction of this hydraulic lift, it contains two vessels. The first vessel is connected to second vessel having different areas. Then the first vessel is fitted with piston S1 and second vessel is fitted with piston S2. S1 is having its area A1 and S2 is having its area A2, such that A2 will be large as compared with A1. The force F1 will be exerted by the piston S1 and the force F2 will be exerted due to the second piston S2, so that the pressure P1 is created in the first vessel and pressure P2 will be created in the second vessel, but the place at which they are interconnected, both these pressures P1 and P2 are the same. And therefore, if you consider all these quantities, that is S1, S2 as the pistons, P1, P2 the pressures in the respective vessels, A1, A2 be the surface areas of the pistons, and F1, F2 these are the forces acting on the two pistons. Then if you consider the first vessel, in this case F1 force is acting on this piston S1, that is S1 is pushed in the downward direction with force F1 mechanically. At that time the pressure created is P1, and therefore here we can write P1 is equal to F1 upon A1, as pressure is equal to force per unit area. Now this pressure will be equally and undiminished transmitted to second vessel, and therefore we can write F2 is equal to P1 into A2, and hence F2 will be equal to P1 A2, that is equal to F1 upon A1 into A2, that is F1 into A2 upon A1. But here in this case, as A2 is very large as compared with A1, F2 will be very large as compared with F1, and hence as F2 is very large as compared with F1, the piston S2 will be pushed in the upward direction with this very large force. So in this case we can say that if a very small force F1 is acting on the piston S1, a very large force F2 will be acting on the second piston S2. Now second application of this is hydraulic brakes. So these hydraulic brakes are used, to slow down or to stop any vehicle in motion. And therefore, if you consider this concept of hydraulic brakes, it will be useful to stop or slow down the moving vehicles, and hence the working of this will be similar to that of this hydraulic lift. So in case of hydraulic brakes, by pressing the brake pedal, the piston of the master cylinder is pushed in forward direction. As a result, the piston in the slave cylinder, which has much larger area of cross section, always move in forward direction so as to maintain the volume of oil constant. The slave piston pushes the friction pads against the rotating disc which is connected to the wheel. This causes the moving vehicle to slow down or to stop. Now same mathematical concept as that of hydraulic lift will be again used here.